Vision depends upon one type of heat called biochemistry.
Because heat only occurs in the intersol, that zone between the ground state electron shell and the newly induced higher electron shell of molecules. Only humans can't very well understand this, because we are biomolecular machines existing in the heat zone of the intersol where consciousness is operational.
When photons are absorbed by the object's ground state electron shells, they are re-emitted, traveling to the eye where the signal is transduced, becoming an image on the visual cortex of the brain. Photon absorption and re-emission is the main mechanism by which information from the surrounding world, sound and vision becomes our reality. Photon absorption and re-emission causes expansion of the negative field surrounding the outermost ground state electron shells, creating matter in motion, which is heat.
Now, let's ponder the question of why heat can be very confusing. It is so confusing that it is even difficult to understand why it is confusing. But here goes. We live in an atmosphere which acts like a photon reservoir, giving us a steady supply of photons, and this area is like a greenhouse. The photons bounce around molecule to molecule, providing us with the extra photons which operate the covalent bonds of the molecules of which we are made. The infrared photons can penetrate to the dermis and be absorbed, the ground state electron shell of neurons known as thermoreceptors. This photon absorption triggers a response which travels to our brain, causing us to think we feel warmth or heat. The photon itself is not heat. The confusion is caused by the difference. Heat that we think of is nothing more than an interpretation of impulses, whereas in reality, heat is the interaction of the photon with the neuron's ground state shell. This is not an illusion, it is just how your entire sensory system, including vision, operates, and it is interpretive.
When there are not enough extra photons in the surroundings to operate covalent bonds of molecules, the material becomes brittle as covalent bonds begin to fail.
Minus 320 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the temperature of this liquid nitrogen.
As such, chemistry is a type of heat, as is just about everything that happens.
Turns out, it's impossible to get to absolute zero, because no matter how cold you get, everything has tiny quantum jitters. And where you have motion, even a tiny amount, you have heat.